So, gentlemen, tell us what the next steps in this process are.
I think the next steps are to negotiate with the port, stakeholders, and with teams to see if we can put together a good proposal.
Yeah, Doug, you want to add to that?
I think you got it right.
Yeah. Off camera, we were talking about something I can't mention on camera, and that was the financing issue. Of the total, what do you think is going to be projected cost right now? I know it's going to change, but ballpark maybe 500 million, something like that?
I think we're just getting into this right now, so we're going to have to explore all the costs, and we're going to have discussions. It's hard to answer when we don't know what the stadium will look like or what the development impacts will be.
Are you at all concerned about Vivian Kahn's comment? She can be a tough political player. So we've all known Vivian for a long time. So yeah.
This is a process that's going to go on. This is just the first step in that process. As Mike said, we have to negotiate with the port over the land. And we also know there are many regulatory agencies that will have come into play over time. The neighborhood is very important. We're going to have to communicate with them. We're going to have to negotiate with them. There are stakeholders throughout Oakland that are going to be part of this process. The good news is with what Mike has done at Brooklyn Basin down the road, we have a good template. And I think they did an excellent job of negotiating community benefits agreement, working with labor, business, the community. And so I feel pretty good about that aspect of it.
Give my viewers a kind of a quick synopsis of how this all came about. In other words, was this who started all this first? I mean, was it a restaurant conversation?
Well, it's really a natural outgrowth of what we started 4 years ago when we put Let's Go Oakland together. Then Mayor Dellums had written to Major League Baseball, Bud Selig, after the A's proposal for Fremont had disbanded, in effort to try to kickstart discussions about keeping the team here. And at that time we built this Facebook page, Let's Go Oakland. We have 55,000 people on it. But we also were able to build a coalition of business, labor, government folks to push forth and have conversations with Major League Baseball when they have their
Right.
committee.
Right.
So this is a logical extension of that. We are now in a situation where the Howard Terminal site came up as a result of some over-capacity issues with the port, and they were able to consolidate the previous tenant to the outer harbor. It's a 50-acre site on the water, and we're extremely excited about the opportunity to take the next step.
You want to add anything to that?
Couldn't. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. Any concerns about San Jose's consistent bullying, for want of a better term? Excuse me, that's my term. So, go ahead.
I don't think we're concerned with San Jose. I think we're focused on our own game here and trying to create the best venue such that we can offer an opportunity for the A's or various teams to be successful, both in terms of their abilities and certainly their financial investment. And that we can create a win for the community as well.
Anything you guys want to add for the viewers watching? Any information?
No, the only thing I would add is, look, we're optimistic people, and this effort, as everyone knows, has been going on for some time. The future of the A's. We have a site here which can be ultimately the most spectacular site, we think, in Major League Baseball, and that's why we're so excited about it. Truly transformational for the city of Oakland, for the Oakland A's, and for Major League Baseball, quite frankly. And so we're ready to roll up our sleeves and get to work.
Should add the Warriors too, by the way. Yeah. Hey, thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
Commissioners, your thoughts? What are the next steps for the baseball stadium at Howard Terminal? At least the possibility of one.
Well, it really comes back to the group that had applied to we just entered into the ENA with. They're the ones that's got to start doing the real work for figuring out exactly if this can be a possibility for us or not. We're giving them the ENA and the time period for them to cover it all, and really the next steps in their hands for them to come back. And I've got great confidence that they will come up with it good, because it's somebody that we've dealt with before. And Michael Gimatti, as well as we've got great respect for Don Nouse from Clorox as well too. So there's a great group of guys, and so we'll figure out exactly what we have going on.
Mr. Colbert, you want to add to that?
Yeah, I want to add 2 points, and one is I was on the ad hoc committee that looked at this, and there was a Moffitt and Nichol study that was done to look at the uses for Howard Terminal, whether it was still viable, for the current uses, and it's becoming obsolete. So the question then becomes, what do we do with Howard Terminal? And I think what's really exciting here is that we have, and we kept using the word today at the commission meeting, a transformative experience that could happen. If you look at Brooklyn Basin to the south, the stadium to the north, hotels and high-rises in the center, this waterfront is going to be one of the most vibrant waterfronts in the world. And you look at the cities that have done this, Vancouver, San Diego, Baltimore, you can go around the globe. The waterfronts have changed, Seattle. This is where people want to be, and Oakland's going to be the most exciting city on the West Coast.
Mr. Parker?
Yeah, no, I think that they've covered what the next steps are, and I think it's just for everybody to act with urgency. We've got the state lines process that President Butner alluded to in his comments, so we'll have to be compliant, but I think everybody, including us, will have to make sure that we keep up urgency so that, and I agree with everything that Commissioner Cabruno said as well, if we're going to get there, we'll have to pick up the pace. But I've complete confidence that we'll do that.
To close, what are your thoughts on Vivian Kahn's concerns regarding how her life would be impacted?
I share those concerns, and I think that wasn't lost on the developers as well. They heard those concerns, and they have a history of dealing with those kinds of concerns, which is really traffic mitigation that you'll have, her sight lines as far as that is concerned as well, to safety, all the safety issues, all those kinds of issues and public benefit concerns will be addressed, I'm sure, with this, or else we'll never approve anything that goes along that doesn't take care of all that.
Right.
That's what we do, and that's our responsibility, is to make sure that we do that. I'd like to add one other thing to what
Sure.
Commissioner Cabruno had said.
He had this expression like he was about to burst and say something.
About Commissioner Cabruno was saying about the transformative nature for this waterfront and how beautiful Oakland will be in the future. We have a responsibility, state lands, that's what he's talking about, to make sure that it's not only for us and the city, but also for the region as a whole. And the point is that even if we are able to do this, we'll make the region better, not just the port or the city.
Yeah, and I think that the individual, when you look at individual property values and look at across the street at Pac Bell, and I know not everything is about economics, but the fact is that home values will go up there. And I think getting inside some of this transformative nature, we have $3 billion in retail leakage from the city every year. We haven't had a major retail presence since Barnes & Noble left the area some 4 or 5 years ago. So I think being able to do that, being able to responsibly add to our tax base, keep the A's, that keeps the spirit and that sort of thing, and then the game day jobs and the revenue from that and the merchandise and the whole thing. I think the plea is that the A's see this, and Commissioner Cabruno went over some of the economics, that you've got a city that really is invested in this team. And by the way, has been invested in this team in good times and in bad. So when you have more revenue that you can invest in players and put a competitive product on the field every single year, you're not worrying about a fickle fan base. So I hope that in the totality, ownership will look at this as a serious proposition as well and want to partner with us.
Yeah. Any thoughts before we close, gentlemen?
The most important thing I think I had to say today was that the message has to be to the owners and the investors of the Oakland A's. By building a waterfront stadium, you're adding $250 million of value to a franchise. That means better players, long-term stability, and a great return on investment, not just for the owners of the team, but for the community.
Yeah. Gentlemen, thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.